Hello everybody. I think that it's time that I talk about something serious. 10 years ago tonight, the Bonfire collapsed in 1999 at 2:42 in the morning, and it killed 12 Aggies, and I think it injured 27 others. And what I wanted to talk about tonight is a couple of things. First of all, I watched the ceremony from Reed Arena, and to me it was very touching because everybody who watches this video may or may not know that I've always grown up when I was younger and I was a Longhorn fan, and it's just because my mom went to University of Texas and I grew up near Austin and things like that. But over the last 6 years of my life, when I went to Texas A&M, a lot of people have already heard my speech about this, but I really have come to love Texas A&M and everything that it stands for and everything that it is. And when I was watching the memorial today at Reed Arena, something that one of the fathers said, he was a dad of one of his boys who died on that night. Something he said really touched me, and I wanted to share it with you guys. And that is, he said that when you walk through those portals, because at the Bonfire Memorial there's portals that you walk through and it shows the life of the students that died. He said when you walk through those portals, you need to remember that you're living the life that my son never got to live, and that you should represent him as an Aggie and as a person, because you're getting the chance to live the life that he dreamed about. And I thought about that, and it really touched me. It really hit me really deep in my soul, because I want to make them proud. I wear my Aggie ring, and I want that to mean something, and I want to represent my university proudly. And some people might say, well, it's just a school, it's just a mascot, it's just a football team and all that stuff, and that's true. But those 12 men and women that died that night, they didn't get to live their dreams that I get to live. They didn't graduate from college. They died doing something they loved for a university that they loved. And, when it comes to Longhorns versus the Aggies and all that stuff, the friendly rivalry should be there, and I think that's important. But we need to always remember that beyond the rivalry and beyond the football teams and the basketball teams is people. And people are human, and they have a certain dignity in them. And at the end of the day, whether you go to the University of Texas or whether you go to Texas A&M University, at the end of the day, you need to make that university proud in what you do, because there's been some people that have not made it to that graduation day for whatever reason. And for them, at least, we should really live out what our great university gave us, which was the ability to do what we want to do, not only what we have to do. So anyway, that's my thoughts about that. The second thing that I wanted to talk about was the idea of bringing Bonfire back to campus. And I know this is kind of a touchy subject with some people, because some people are involved in the off-campus bonfire that is not recognized by the university or sanctioned by the university. Some people are heavily involved in that, including our governor, Rick Perry, who is a alumni, a former student from A&M. He says that he wants to bring the bonfire back to campus, and he said as early as 2011. My opinion is that we should not bring it back to campus, and here's why. A lot of people say that going to Texas A&M without a bonfire is a completely different experience than going to Texas A&M with a bonfire. And I'll agree to that, because the bonfire collapsed in 1999 and I didn't enter in college until 2003. So I went to college, I went to Texas A&M, and there was never a bonfire. There was the off-campus bonfire, but I never went. So my experience at Texas A&M is different than those that came before me. And that's true. But here's why I think that it should not be brought back to campus. Because although it is a time-honored tradition, and a lot of people put their heart and strength and effort and time and loyalty into this tradition, and it's very important to the university, and it's a very different university without it. We cannot forget that people died. The death of a person goes beyond the tradition of a school. The tradition is not more important than the death of 12 human people. Their brothers, sisters, daughters, sons, cousins, friends. It's not worth it. And the thing about bringing the bonfire back to campus is that if you think that this was 1999 was the first time that it fell, you're wrong, because if I'm not mistaken, the bonfire fell in 1996. So we have to remember that this tradition is very dangerous. In fact, there were 3 bonfire-related deaths before 1999 even happened. And in my opinion, even one death is too much. A tradition is not worth a single death. And I really think that we need to think about that, and think about it from the perspective of the parents. Okay? The parents sent these students to school when they were 18, and they trusted the school to take care of these students. And I'm not trying to be political here, but in reality, that bonfire was dangerous. Okay? And we should not put any other student at risk of dying for the sake of a tradition. One thing that a parent said tonight that was very moving, that really touched me the most, was that the night of the bonfire collapse, his son gave him a phone call, and he left a message, and he said, "Hey Dad, it's me. I just wanted to tell you that I'm going out to the bonfire. It's going to be a good time." And he went on. And the dad didn't take the message because he said, I'll talk to him tomorrow. And he already called me earlier in the day, so I'll talk to him tomorrow. Well, that night his son died. And the dad said that while he was writing his speech 10 years later, he was still hoping and wishing that his phone would ring and that it would be his son on the line saying, "Hey Dad, it's me." But it's not going to happen for that dad ever again. And in my opinion, a tradition is not worth another parent having to go through that. I think that the tradition of bonfire will live on in every Aggie's heart, in the past, present, and future. And as long as, something that was said tonight by the president, the student body president, was, as long as Texas A&M is Texas A&M, and as long as we have our rings, and as long as people consider themselves Aggies, the bonfire will burn on. And I think that's what we can do to honor these people, is to burn it in our hearts and not put other students' lives at risk to save a tradition. So that's my 2 cents. Feel free to agree with me or disagree with me, but that's just what I wanted to say. So I will see you guys later. Okay, bye.